Finally. So last night I had a chat with a friend, and he's also very aware of everything. And yeah, he was telling me like the soul might have choice, but the consciousness that you are is the one that has free will. And then I felt like, okay, let me reflect it back to you how I see it, and or how I experience it. So I wrote it down. I'm gonna read it because it's dense, and then I will unpack it. I am the awareness that is aware of my being. I experience this in layers. The smallest perceivable part is my ego, which is part of my personality. That person is one expression of this soul in this lifetime, which was chosen by my being before incarnation. When I widen my view, I perceive my person, including ego, character, etc. The embodiment of this soul here and now. When I widen my view even further, I can sense the contours of this soul, and sometimes also how this soul appeared in other forms, past lives, and appears in parallel versions. Whether I experience this as my being or as pure awareness is sometimes still hard to put into words. It feels more like an inner knowing. Yes. So, the way I have unpuzzled all these pieces, it took me a long time because it was like a gradual process. It started at a young age of me being aware of things not many people spoke about. Like I could sense things, and sometimes I didn't even know what things. Yeah, usually when I tell this story, I start by explaining like how I was a little boy, really little boy, maybe a toddler even. I don't remember exactly, but I remember clearly talking. We were living on the second floor, and on the first floor there were our neighbors, and they had a son. So I was on the second floor, sitting on the balcony, talking with the leprechaun or some sort of being in their garden. And then my mom used to think I was talking to the neighbor boy. But yeah, he was in school, I was not. So I use this example often as like why, as a child, I mean, children, they're still so open. It's been explained and researched that when you enter this world as a baby, you're like fully still in like delta mode. So you're like sleeping all the time, dreaming all the time, dreaming reality. You have no grasp of reality as we see it as adults. You're basically awake sleeping or sleeping awake. And then gradually you start to sense the world, and this can be measured in the brain with the brain waves. Slowly delta becomes theta waves, and theta. And in this, when you go under hypnosis and people, not a lot of people allow themselves to go into this stage because you're very susceptible to um, suggestions. I remember clearly when we were practicing with hypnosis that if I told someone like this lighter is very hot, and when it touches your skin, you will feel the heat. So, and then because the lighter is just cold, but as soon as it touches, people like pull away. Yeah, the power of suggestion. And then slowly, as a child, you start to develop speech. You start to recognize the other as being another. You slowly become the person, slowly, slowly. This is where you start switching between uh, theta and alpha, and some even claim there's a gamma state always present. But yeah, let's not go into that because it's for later. And then you go to school, and they teach you all these beta things, and usually people, no matter the age, they find it very hard to stay focused in beta because you'll so often drift off into alpha, like the dream state or daydreaming or just imagination, or fantasy, or sometimes you don't even know what it is. You're just not there. Which is all part of being present, because being present is being okay with all of it, being your full being in all expressions. Why this explaining? Yeah, so you basically a little bit understand how the personality is formed. Uh, One could even say the first thing that starts to appear in this physical reality is, of course, your physical body. People think. And I say no. Even before you're fully incarnated, like like your physical body, yeah, you cannot see, but like your physical body is attached to your mother through the umbilical cord, your soul is attached with I think it's called a silver line, a silver thread to uh, the person you're going to be. So your soul is still out there somewhere. It's just another way of expressing it. Already attached to the physical being you're going to be, the person that is going to be the expression of this soul. But here's where I make like a clear distinction between many teachings. I don't claim the soul to be eternal. I don't claim to be the soul that incarnated. No, I claim to be the being that chose this soul, this soul blueprint before incarnation. And it was like very meticulously and very carefully chosen by not just me, but usually there's a whole team involved where you kind of go over the possibilities and the implications, and yeah, sometimes you feel like this soul feels like the best, and then maybe later you decide, well, maybe not. And all of this, the way I see it, explains how you can have like a walk-in soul, how you can have like once you're born, sometimes you decide, I don't think I want to incarnate fully in this life, and this is stillborn. So preparation was there. The connection with your mother is made between soul and soul, from soul to soul, and then you decide like, okay, I'm gonna do it differently than I intended, and you could even say, consider it as, yeah, this was already agreed upon before you chose this soul. It's just a way of explaining or give meaning to, or give answers to so many questions people have, like how does this work? How does this work? So I see the soul as a blueprint, as a guidebook, as a script that you choose before incarnation. So once incarnated, you there's like a clear path laid out before you, and it's not written in stone. It's not like you have to follow this path exactly. It's not like a Google Maps direction list. No, um, it's a guidance. It's and sometimes there's clear agreements on space-time coordinates. So in this year I'm gonna meet this person, or in this year, at that moment I'm gonna meet that soul. And yeah, especially with like twin souls, uh, it's like this one soul that's split in two or three or four. Uh, I think the term twin soul can be a bit confusing because it implies there's only two. No, a soul can incarnate in as many forms as it wants. So you split in two, for example, and then at some point you agree to meet your other half or your other parts, your other souls. I know one example of three women who found out they were the same soul. And one is living in America, and the other one in Europe, and the one I think she's in South America or something. They all live like way apart, but they were together on a retreat, and they found out, and then yeah, everything changed for them. Calling every day, and you know, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this? It's like three expressions of the same soul, three embodiments of the same soul. Um, so yeah, my clear distinction is that you are not the soul. So let me go back to where I said um, the smallest perceivable part is the ego. Then you tune out a little. Then you see the person. Then you tune out a little. Then you see the soul. And yeah, I was thinking before starting this video to actually do it live. Yeah, so let me give an example. Right now, I can sense sensations in my physical body, but mainly in my energy body. And I can use my physical body to measure them, to make them tangible. When I tune into just my physical body, I can feel like this sort of restlessness in my lower back and also in my abdomen. And by not giving meaning to it, but just observing it, I can clearly just sense it. And right now I'm just staying with this sensing, not giving meaning, not trying to understand it, not not trying to label it or something, give words to it. No, it's just okay. This is what I sense through my physical body. What is happening energetically? Because at the same time, I also feel this spaciousness. My energetic being right now feels very spacious. Like it's much larger than my physical body, my emotional body. Um, yeah, right now it feels like I am. Yeah, the pure I am. I could describe it as a field because it has not very clear boundaries, but I can sense that it has boundaries. And within these boundaries, this is what they call the Atman, the I am, the single I am, the individualized I am, the I am that is expressing itself through yeah, this appearance that you're seeing here in front of you, in front of the camera. But I don't know if you can tune into it, um, but try not to see me, but more like feel me. Yes, that. What happens is that my field and these boundaries, it's not very clear, but yeah, let's say edges, your edges and my edges are now like touching. Very gentle. Not mingling. No, don't mingle. No. Mingle you do with partner, with uh, yeah, a relationship. And yeah, maybe you feel or think we have a relationship, and I can tell you, as long as we don't know each other personally, there's no relationship. No, it's just a meeting. We are meeting each other right now. We are meeting each other from, let's say, from being to being. And within this being, this field, which I called the I am, the individualized I am. There's like your I am and my I am, and they like gently bouncing like this. Hey, hi, or hey, hey, hello, hello. Yeah, and a lot of people, they are not aware of this. So what they do is they jump into the other, they jump into their energetic field, and they want something from them, or they need something from them, or they need containment, or they need some grounding, or they want attention. And yeah, if you don't have clear boundaries, then it can be very exhausting meeting people like this, because yeah, they the weight they carry, the negative energies, negative polarized energies, the heaviness that they carry with them, then becomes part of your field. And then you feel like, and then they go away, they feel okay again, they feel light, like, oh yeah, oh, I'm okay. And you carry their heaviness. And then, I remember clearly when we were doing like a healing reading at school, especially when doing healing. I think with me it was more when I was doing reading. Yeah, No, but okay. So during healing and reading, it's kind of mixed bag of tricks. I sometimes, when there was like a client in front of me, I the teacher would come to me and explain to me, see what you're doing now. You're sitting on their lap. Yeah, you basically it's your inner child is crawling onto the lap of the client, because you don't feel safe and you want to get to know this person. Otherwise, there's this belief probably like, yeah, otherwise I cannot connect. So I had to pull back my energy, set clear boundaries again. Um, yeah, we learned like very, very, very solid techniques um, how to set your boundaries, how to claim your own space. Uh, um, I'm trying to find the word. Yeah, define your aura. To define your aura, your auric field. Like, okay, this is me. Uh, when you open your field like completely, and then you're like into the other. You're not reading the other. There's like that's what they call a match. When you have a match, then yeah, sometimes it's very hard to read the other. You're either reading yourself or the other's healing you. Okay, let me take one step back. So I was sensing my energetic field. And within this energetic field, uh, everything is there. And it's like layers. Like there's the oversoul, which has many souls incarnated, not always on this planet, in this reality. And then there's the soul, the I am, the individualized I am, and the soul is the blueprint. It's the guidance system, including contracts, agreements. Like I said before, like on this space-time coordinate, we're gonna meet each other, and then we have like a relationship or just a talk, or sometimes it's not even necessary to talk. You just you meet and something happens, and you go your own way, but still like there's a silver lining. And with and the soul, the way it expresses itself in this physical reality is through the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, even the spiritual body. It's like layers. So all this time, you can feed it like this. And yeah, I mean, I've practiced so much with these different levels that for me it became really clear. And yeah, while explaining this to you, it might feel like, what the frick is he talking about? But yeah, use your senses, use your imagination. Um, you don't have to understand it. It's like I said, it's like this inner knowing. You possibly recognize some of the things that I see. So one practice, this is just a practical thing that you can do anytime, even when like fully triggered, or in meditation. And sometimes it's helpful to get into this meditative, like trance state, because then the ego is not so present, because the ego, the smallest perceivable part of the you, it can inflate itself, can make itself really important. So you can use meditation to become aware of that ego, that small part of you. You can like consider it a voice, a single voice, or if you like, multiple voices. Usually it's a single voice. You could even call it your thoughts, but sometimes then it becomes a little bit difficult for people because they have thoughts of their own and they have thoughts of conditioning. So let's stick with the concept of you becoming aware of that single voice called your ego, and it's whispering or sometimes screaming all sorts of things, and you just notice it. You don't engage with it. You're just aware of it. It's just, thoughts. It's just your ego there, being there, doing its thing. And then if you zoom out a little more, like you understand, okay, that's my ego doing its thing. But who's aware of that ego? That's my person. So it's your person who's aware of the ego. It knows, like, okay, I have an ego. I have this part of me that sometimes whispers and, just whispers in the ear. Maybe he's doing this. Maybe he says this, but he means that. Or maybe she's lying. Or maybe, yeah, she's very attractive. So maybe if I say this, or is she really attracted to me as well? Right? So you can use this practice to zoom out. Like, once you become aware of the person, who's aware of the person? Okay, that's the soul. Once you're aware of the soul, so who's aware of the soul? It's like a gradual zooming out. The ego, the smallest perceivable part, is being noticed by the person, and the person is being noticed by the soul, and the soul is being noticed by the self, capital S, the spirit, your being, your beingness, your awareness. Okay, I gotta wrap it up. Storage full. Maybe there will be a part 2. Cheers.